Yalla here, youtube.com/MROVW, the Bin Hamin channel, back at hackerhamin.podbean.com, Hacker Hamin on wherever you get your podcasts, infidels. Yo, and check my Beefcake Flow, explicit material, live and stereo flow, filmy, Donna Real G, set RBV free. We're about to do it low calorie here, Monday morning, infidels, RBV Fitness, Hacker Hamin, just waiting for the good doctor to give us the prescription here on your Monday locker room. Yalla.
But you say low calorie, Ben. Nothing low calorie about my weekend, man. I don't know if you got to see this, what I shared out there for everybody. But I'm getting ready to launch a new project. RBV Eats Out. And I'm still doing a little pilot episode going on. Dude, I took down, it was a foot long, over 3 pound hard shell taco. I mean, this thing, it had a layer of beans, white rice, ground beef, lettuce, sour cream, pico, queso, shredded cheese. Oh man, it was unbelievable.
It tasted good. I know sometimes some of those novelty foods can lose a little of the flavor, but it still held its integrity as taco-licious.
I'll tell you what, it held together, like in structure and in flavor. My buddy who's put this thing together, he runs the Not Your Average Taco Cart here in the Cincinnati area. He had to go out and get a specially made mold for this thing just to deep fry this shell. And it's incredible. It held together and it lived up to the hype.
I saw it. It was damn impressive. I thought it was photoshopped at first, but I'm glad you're expanding there. Like we've talked before about my buddy who runs the Empire Plate. I think you got a lot of opportunity there, man, in your neck of the woods to do some great stuff for, local businesses that definitely need that hype right now, more than anything. So they're asking me early already here at the chat room on YouTube, can we give a WNBC? NB, see you later, infidels, y'all, because it's a big sellout. RBV says, hey, Hack, did you hear the fucking morning news? I said, brother, I haven't heard nothing yet. So stooge report right out of one of my executive producers right in the office first thing this morning. Hit him, RVB.
I can see news breaking everywhere. If any circle you're in, this thing is busting here. But it looks like the WWE's reached a deal to dump the WWE network. They've sold the rights. It looks like Peacock is going to acquire all of the content. It's going to be available on their $4.99 tier. Now, full details have yet to be released. The company, WWE themselves, have not said anything. Peacock officials have made just some broad statements on this thing. But yes, the WWE network, the content, the vault, the pay-per-views going forward, property of Peacock, which is the NBC streaming service. It looks like this deal's for 5 years for $1 billion.
$1 billion, and they're already paying them $462 million this year for Raw, dude. So, I mean, stock price went down. People were like, yeah, we should reinvest. Maybe you did or you didn't. Market's opening right now. So, $1 billion investment into these people who built an empire, but it's in its last and dying days, and they keep convincing NBC and other networks and Saudi royals and soon China. China will be the next big sellout for them. Like we've already seen it in UFC to just keep putting tons and tons of liquidity into WWE. I mean, what is this really going to do? What would WWE spend this $1 billion on? There's no road shows. There's no audiences. This is straight cashing out in the end of days. If they're willing to build this network up over, how long do we have it? 5 years? Really?
Yes.
5 years. They built it and then sold it for $1 billion. Like if they're selling off big chunks of their company, I think there's 2 reasons, because business is way down and it's fucked. So they've convinced these mega media companies to buy their library and act like it's, everything's all good, because these major media companies are clueless to the state of wrestling, of how bad it really is. And McMahons are just cashing in their fortune. And maybe that $1 billion is going to go towards backing a Trump founded network itself, buddy. You know what I mean? Are they going to invest in that? Or is it going back into family money and they're going to actually end up selling off WWE to whoever NBC wants them to, if it's Disney or what have you. Because if they're willing to sell off this big piece that they made in 5 years, and it's a loss leader, because everyone signed up to get the pay-per-views, and then the internet changed again from BitTorrents to live streams. We saw Dana White cutting off about it, how he was going to take everybody down. Yeah, well, I watched your fucking shit, and I would continue to watch it for free. Now I enjoy stealing your stuff even more because you think you're over and you don't have a clue about what's going on in this world. So I don't know, man. There's a lot of layers to this.
What I think too, what we're going to need to keep an eye on is how this transition is going to happen. Is this going to take place immediately? Or are they going to kind of do it in phases? Is there like a big rollout date coming out? Because it does say here, starting in 2022, WWE produced one signature documentary annually for the network. That'd be kind of an addition, a special feature that they're going to have here. So, I mean, that leads me to believe that we might get a slow transition. Another number that really jumps out here, WWE Network itself, subscribers is 1.6, where Peacock is already at 22 million.
Yeah, well, you're talking about a far bigger property, NBC.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I'd say NBC is 20 times bigger than WWE, so that would be about right. You know what I mean? 1.6 million for WWE, and that's about what their Raw audience is. So we're right at the bare bones. So at the end of the day, $1 billion. Let's call WWE's value $2 million. Is so that'll be $500 million for 2 million. And so we get rid of that ratio, right? They paid $25 for every single subscriber to WWE. That's the street cost of NBC, of what they bought that WWE shit for.
I think, you talk about now, is kind of making the rounds of a few different groups here. People are asking that question, Ben, is this beginning to be the exit strategy? Are they trying to transitioning, or is this, to me, as you were talking about revenues down, you're not going to have those in the future. As we know, the whole concept of the touring, the house shows, that's pretty much eliminated. It's just kind of just a quick cash grab.
Did they have Sunday dinner? And Vince goes, do you guys really want to do this anymore? And Gabe's like, no. And Steph's like, no, I'm good. And Shane isn't even there. He's like Skyping in. Is that too far beyond belief that they're all like, fuck wrestling, let's just cash in and work everybody we can?
Let's say, well, one of the other headlines I was going to get us going with this week is it hasn't really picked up a lot of traction, but the story's kind of been out there for a while. But, we're getting ready. It's Rumble week. We got the Royal Rumble coming up this week. Obviously, you have this major news breaking. But were you aware tomorrow morning they're actually doing an India-based show, the Superstar Spectacular?
I know they were looking to get in over there, and then it went hot and cold after Triple H beat Jinder Mahal in his home fucking town because somebody did a DX crotch chop and made Triple H mark out for himself. So they didn't do the right business out of the gate. Definitely, India is a huge opportunity. I know a lot of people have tried to get over in there. Impact has as well, and I don't doubt. I mean, bringing Mahabali Shira and a lot of guys in, Gama Singh, Rohit Raju, all the squad, Well,
they've got Kali's over there with a school.
Well,
what they're going to do.
Kali here. Kali probably not backed by them. I saw those shows because Congo Kong went over and worked one or two. And okay. Dude, they had at one spot 80,000 fucking people in one spot, bro, and like 40 grand on the show the next night.
Wow. Well,
so
what they're doing tomorrow is this originally was scheduled to be one of those super shows that we've seen in Saudi, that we've seen in Australia.
Okay.
Because of everything going on, they have actually filmed this thing at the Performance Center, but you're going to see it's going to be almost entirely Indian talent. And you're going to have a bunch of individuals from Kali School. They're gonna mix in a few of the regular superstars. Ricochet's advertised, Charlotte's advertised. I think the biggest one, McIntyre, is going to be on the show.
You gotta have competent people to lead those matches too. You know what I mean? And to do the WWE outreach PR.
Well, it's the return of Jinder Mahal. It's going to be him and the Bollywood Boys versus Drew and a couple guys in a 6-man. Well,
I think they should. Sorry to keep cutting you off. I don't know, like WWE, yeah, it's theirs to fuck up and they can move in with brand recognition and they're beloved in India. It's not like we're talking about third world country here. I'm anxious to see like kind of the Bollywood production of a WWE. That could be very cool in itself. But I'm surprised that with as many people who are there, and you've got Jinder and you know all the people who do the goodwill, that Khali, even though Khali probably shouldn't be training anybody, that Khali didn't bring over X amount of people to start training and be like, fuck WWE, and somebody starts their own version of India wrestling and is over as that there, dude. I think there's way more opportunity to do that than have to worry about the whole WWE, you know.
Well, and I kind of want to, you know, in a roundabout way, now we see kind of unloading here. Maybe in the States, could that possibly be the direction for WWE is get the hell away from the States and just territory these other countries where there's less restriction on them?
Well,
you mentioned Trump.
World Order's plan, bro, of like everyone, like here's your conspiracy talk. People think it's a rib or whatever, but America has been fleeced by the big corporate elites, technocracy, military industrial complex. We're raped and we're done. We're over here in the corner shivering and crying, and now they're going to move on to China. Saw Dana White with a fucking Shanghai training performance center, UFC. WWE's doing the same. This is all what they do in these corporate meetings of Bilderberg. All right, we've bled this dry. Now we're going to move that whole model into this area. We'll build it from the ground up. We'll beat the shit out of it. We'll, you know, and then that's what they do. They all collaborate and move on. And Vince is in that crew. And India and China are the most fertile, unpioneered grounds, the biggest population, starving for Western entertainment. They want to invoke their Eastern philosophies of socialism, but at the same time, they want all the fucking mixed shit house fucking Kentucky Fried bullshit that they can fit in their mouths. And entertainment wise, they're going to fucking hit them that way. You wait. Everybody in China and India who's halfway fit right now, you look at them 25 years from now on RBV Fitness and see the difference as they get Americanized through their food, through every single fucking thing, bro. And they'll look just like how we went from in the 80s. Look at the morbid obesity rate from the early 80s to where we are now, bro, with high fructose corn syrup, ingestion. All that's coming to them. They're going to get, it's all going to be wrapped up with fucking John Cena fucking delivering it to them, bro. That's what countries are getting in the next 25 years.
We're moving away from the old form of war. We've got the new style where we just Americanize your country and you just let you destroy yourself.
Pretty much, man. You know, that they don't, country is a rib to them. Corporation and overlords is everything to them in the new feudalism. Stevie Richards in the chat here this morning, 26 strong, YouTube, Ben Hamin channel. Yeah, how are those unions working out? Thanks, Andrew Yang, for getting that problem solved. Did a good job, buddy. So there's plenty of opportunity in both of those countries. Stevie, I don't know if you were tuning in earlier or not, but Peacock has bought the WWE network for $1 billion. What could possibly go wrong now? What does NBC know about promoting wrestling?
Well, they've been in business together for over 30 years in different capacities. What do you think at some point along those lines you'd have?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, for over 30 years, everything you've done on the USA Network, you've done all the special events. I mean, hell, the two companies have worked so close together. I mean, they were together in the launch of the XFL in a sorts back with the old sports director
How'd that work out for them? You know, so here we are having a fire sale, and I think NBC could have got that fucking library for $666 million. I think they overpaid quite a bit for it. But there's just going to be toxic properties, whether it's XFL for 15 million, he got rid of that. So what else is going to be on the chopping block, man? If they're getting rid of these things and streamlining, maybe it is to shift into that, but wrestling in America is beat to shit, bro. Like, as far as they're concerned, why wouldn't they start all over again? Because people in India and China don't know how shitty wrestling really is either. So you get to start with a whole new fresh audience who hasn't seen a bunch of shit before and fucking do it, all over again. Oh, man.
Well, one of the stories that I also had on the run here that kind of ties into this, it was a handful of stories they're all kind of together. Did you catch the anything with the Undertaker, the big news coming out with his spot he did on the Joe Rogan Experience, where
I had seen something where he called us everybody SAWFT soft, and then I had also seen, I hadn't heard it, I only watched like one little clip, and I was like, okay, Rogan's marking out for the Undertaker, and I got to hear the same shit I've heard 58 times. No, thank you. That they pulled the show possibly too for him talking shit. Somebody said they went to try and hear the show, and the show had gotten pulled down and back up without some of the audio in it.
Not that I believe. I was able to find it all. I went and kind of pieced it together, though. I didn't listen to the entire episode. But yeah, he's kind of talking about how this new crop, they just don't have the edge or as cutthroat as previous generations. So in response to that, to kind of tie into this, you had Xavier Woods, who just had a simple, thanks to previous generations, I've learned that playing video games is a lot healthier. So it was a little bit of a jab there. Drew McIntyre, WWE champion, he recently replied to it and said he has to go back and re-listen to everything, but what he took from it was maybe the Undertaker saying it's because of storylines and creative direction that he feels that the business has become soft, and not necessarily how athletic it is now. This what also kind of stuck out to me here. Bischoff was recently talking about an edginess of the product over on 83 Weeks, where he had talked back in, during the Attitude Era when WWE had to flip the switch, essentially out of desperation because they were just getting their asses handed to them. They had to go to the ultimate extreme. That's when they go in, the story of going into Russo's office at the magazine and say, I need this to be the television show. What you're doing with Raw magazine.
Well, it's the other way around. Is the magazine hit his desk and said, this needs to be the fucking television show.
Okay.
So like, yeah, definitely. But Woods and them.
Is there, I guess what I'm saying here, and back then even Bischoff said his network was not going to let him push the levels of, he used the term raunchiness that WWE was going to at that time. They couldn't out raunchy the WWE. They were going to lose that battle. And now you hear even McIntyre talking about the storyline, the creative direction. Is there an overemphasis, or people put too much importance on that television rating? To me, good TV is good TV, bad TV is bad TV. As adults, we can sit and watch something from Pixar or Disney Channel, and if it's written well and it's put together, we can buy into it. This rating thing, it just seems like it's completely overblown to me.
Well, it directly influences the amount you can charge your advertisers. That's the most important part of it. You know what I mean? So you want to have those numbers up, but they are directly correlated, because if your show is shit, which it has been for over a decade, and right, you watch your ratings go in a complete decline of, you lost 75% of your audience, from its peak time. It's not because people are just tired of wrestling. It's because what you are presenting to them is insulting, and it's not innovative, and it's repetitious, and it's not anything that's exciting. Anyone who might walk into the room as a new viewer is going to see it, and they don't even need to know who the characters are, and they feel embarrassed by how bad it is and insulting their intelligence, So there's all that's really, I get what you're saying about the numbers, but when it comes to it, that's what dictates the price, and money talks and bullshit walks. So if you're not really going to improve your product, there's plenty of shows that do big numbers. I've been vocal about this. I think Friends and Seinfeld are two of the, I love Curb Your Enthusiasm. I think Seinfeld sucks. I think anything with a laugh, track is trash. It's just conditioned for white bread America of this is what you will laugh at. And there isn't, any real like watching reality unfold. And those, my point is, as bad as those shows were, in my opinion, I would never watch more than 2 episodes of them. I can't. I just sit there and I go, this is dog shit. And fucking those numbers, they did 30 million. So there's a marketing aspect behind it too, and how you got to promote it the right way and get it over. And they're kind of clueless on that as well. So is AEW when they have gold in their hand with Shaq and fucking Mike Tyson and Snoop, and they still can't get it over. 0 for 3 really on all those, you know what I mean? Max value wise. So there's just a lot of misrepresented of like value, I guess is how you would say it at the end of the day. Whether it is the numbers you're talking about, the quality of the show, the one directly influences the other, but it also can be a shitty show if it's marketed the right way and you can get numbers up. But I think wrestling is just too beaten down right now, man. No matter what it says there of what they think they can charge for it, you got to do better. If you do better creatively, like SmackDown, people were into it, man, and numbers have been up because the creative has been a little bit more real. Like they spent time in actual writing stakes into things instead of putting Lana through tables as a rib 9 weeks in a row. There's a difference, right? So
absolutely.
Okay, I'm not just crazy then. Well, I'm crazy too, but there's crazy like a fox, I guess.
So you've been a part of these conversations between promotion and the networks here. I mean, just recently, you guys kind of got involved with those with you and Mr. Russo and Stevie. Mm-hmm. How are they exactly? Walk us through how WWE is going there and selling this thing. I mean, we see a decline in numbers. We see the drop in popularity that where wrestling can't expand outside of its bubble. How exactly are they going in here and selling this thing for billions of dollars?
It feels like it's this whole front of office corporate work where WWE doesn't approach them as the carnies that they approach all the talent and everybody else as, where everyone is in on it. When they are dealing with Fox or USA, I guess, it's like a very front-facing corporate, oh, yes, and they know all how to play that game. Like, that's a whole persona to them. And then there's people at Fox, like Jacob Allman, who are super fans in positions of power to make decisions. So once they know that and they're acting corporate, as soon as that door closes, they go, we got this motherfucker. Look at this fucking dude. And then this guy's over there this is when the Fiend was at his peak. They the guy's over there taking pictures, selfies with the Fiend and posting them on his fucking own Twitter. So they know that they got him, bro. So until Jacob Allman goes and they have to find somebody else to groom and put in that position, they go back and forth. Now, when we met with them and we gave them, Russo gave them 20-minute promo and a laundry list of the things that need to be fixed. He swallows. He's like, you know what? Yeah, we know all of that. And we're looking for positive creative solutions, I believe was the words he used. And I try not to laugh on the call. I was like, oh, good luck. Good luck to you, bro. I go, I was like, you already hit the iceberg. You're taking on water. Like we gotta, do more than course correct here. And they made us say that we wanted to be, consultants to help them, to be their priest when they got nobody else to run to, when Jacob Allman and his staff realizes that shit, it was fun hanging out with the wrestlers, but these guys got us by the balls. But by that time, it's too late, bro. They got their hooks into you. So I wrote the thing, I wrote the consultant agreement. It didn't go through. And then they hired Bischoff and
Richard
Hamin.
Yeah.
And how'd that work out? Was that your positive solution? We're looking for positive solutions. Okay. And now you've got Bruce right in both shows. Now Raw is trash, and you can see that they don't spend any time on it, and they're focused on Fox. Why? Because Fox probably put more heat on them for better creative because Fox wanted that show to be at a baseline 3.5. It was at a 3.1 when they bought it. It went down to a 1.7, 1.8. That's when they go, fuck Raw. We've got to focus Ducey just on SmackDown, and we're going to lose this $1 billion thing. And then when USA, their show is shit, they come up with another carrot and stick where they can unload a toxic property in WWE network to USA, because USA is more about, they don't give a fuck about shows. I mean, NBC, they don't give a fuck about quality of shows. They care about property ownership. Who owns NBC?
Well, NBC Universal's the parent company. Or, all right, who's above that then? Is it
GE? GE owns NBC. So you're talking about an even more global master. So when you think about, GE appliances, then I just do my laundry with that. No. People don't know about media ownership, that 5 companies own all of media, and possibly we're going to be down to 4 by 2023. Controlling every bit of media, bro. And that means radio, TV, newspaper, magazine, and internet sites, and social media. How fucking insane is that? But people don't know because it's all broken down into these other little brands with a logo that we have some loyalty to. And we hear bong, 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 major 6th, 3rd. And then we fucking have a Pavlovian response to it the same way they do with shitbox shows like Friends and fucking Seinfeld. Okay.
I can't believe it. I love Seinfeld. That's one of my all-time favorites.
It sucks. Like you watch Curb, absolutely, but fucking Seinfeld's trash. Even watching Jerry Seinfeld stand up, like, I don't know why people put it over so strong. He's not that funny. He really isn't. So all that in being said, when it goes back to Jacob Allman and all them at Fox and how we negotiate back and forth or tried to help them, and now they've actually got some decent creative, because I think they're putting their feet to the fire saying, we're going to cancel this contract if things don't change, because somebody got tired of Jacob Allman taking selfies with The Fiend and Becky Lynch and goes, you better get this fucking show up to a 4.0 like you promised us, or you're fucking gone. That will sober you up damn quickly to put heat on Deuce to make sure the Roman Reigns Soprano storyline fucking takes off, as opposed to whatever we would normally do.
You are my tribal chief.
So.
Now, when you had your talks with them there, was there anything about social media brought up? Because as you're kind of laying this out, I'm imagining Vince and his boys going in there and using that as a positive. Look at all the interaction we get. We are superstars.
What else
are out in front?
That was a huge part of it, and they dropped the ball. So and when that went down 2-3 years ago, who came on the scene out of nowhere and got over, and then now is kind of not shit and is a rib in the wrestling punditry business?
How many? I mean, countless individuals.
No, there's only one that worked with Fox that got hired.
Well, CM Punk.
No, well, that's close. Ryan Satin.
He's so off my radar. I don't even want to.
Exactly, but for a while he was the fucking the TMZ guy, and Stone Cold and everybody sucking him off to get these fucking little TMZ crossover spots, and then he exposes himself for the snowflake SJW mark that he is. I'm only going to report on things that have facts until until you sell out and try and do After the Bell. And then it did what with Punk on there that won 147,000, and then it was down. I think it started like 700,000, and then it was down to 47,000. Bro, we do fucking 40 grand a week here at hackerhamin.podbean.com on a free fucking platform for podcast, and you cocksuckers can't do it with Fox behind you. You're fucked. Who do you think made the right and wrong decisions, and just bought a bag? Here's the thing. These companies keep buying a bad bill of goods. They keep buying a week-old sushi, and then they're like, oh, why does my stomach hurt? Even if you fucking warn them, like, hey, bro, that shit's been sitting out for a week. You don't want to eat that. They will still fucking consume. And then when they're hurt by it, the I told you so, a told us so, it's all right there, but it's too little too late, man. They never fucking make the right choice when they have it handed to them. And that's not just those big motherfuckers at Fox. Stevie and the Horsemen and I have been on 4 calls with producers to try and get the Horseman TV show on Discovery Channel, History Channel, and every one of them, it's a big suck job. Same fucking way as when we were on with Russo and Fox. Oh yeah. We're pumped about it. You got all, we like GGP and Stevie looks great. And Sal's going to be so awesome on camera. And you've got a great personality. And then fucking dies on the vine. It's all, there's a whole class of people that call themselves producers who are nothing more than yes men fucking cockroaches. And that's about 90% of this industry, because all they do is go answer to some higher ups who really have no clue, that are trusting these guys to deal with WWE or whoever else. And then WWE works them and makes them think that they're the fucking big boss too. But they know that they're feeding them a big pile of shit, and that the heat is going to fall on that guy. And then when it comes down from them, he's the intermediary to take the bullet. That's the whole game of everything, bro.
When you guys with the Horsemen are talking to these different networks, I'm sure like the first time out was very exciting. How long did it take you guys to figure out this is like the same runaround rat race bullshit rhetoric from each to each?
Oh, from Fox, you mean, or from
anybody, from any of your dealings?
With the Horsemen, we were on the phone with them with the Horsemen, and we had Chainsaw, our agent with us, and she's like setting them up to like explain to us. Like the first time, I was a total mark. It was like in my radio voice, like, 'cause I didn't want to blow this. By the second, third, fourth time, we're like, dude, we know you're going to turn us down, so we don't give a fuck. And usually that's when they give it to you, right? So, but we give them gold of stories of episodes that we could put together on minimal budget. And then they come back with like, did you guys ever think about searching for alien gold in the desert in Arizona? Like, what the fuck are you fucking talking about? Like they pitched that to us. Like, you imagine Sal out there, me and a fucking backhoe, just digging a hole in the fucking Arizona desert. Sal's got the big staff. Stevie's with his shirt off. GGP's pissed off and hot. And like, we don't even know what the fuck we're looking for. Meanwhile, I laid out like, let's go to the Ohio Mounds in Niagara. I know where there's a fucking site for giants. Like bing, bang, boom. Like all these different things, right, that we could have done. Oh yeah, that's fucking awesome. And then they're trying to get over with like trying to show us that they're in the conspiracy, and like we're not. Like, yeah, great, we'll forge that bond, and that gets us excited. But it's all lip service, because they already have an idea what they want to do, and then they'll plug in some douchebags who won't get over. The show won't get over. It won't get out of pilot season, but they can put on their resume, hey, we did a pilot searching for alien gold in the Arizona desert. Like, never going to get over. 4 pro wrestlers doing what the fuck we do, going to get over in 2 seconds. But these cocksuckers are the buffer, but that green light, yes or no, whether you go forward. And really, they've never added anything to society. They've never changed anyone's opinion. They've never been a content creator. And I don't know whose cousin the fuck they are, but there's a lot of them. And they're all in that mid upper card gatekeeper role. And every one of them that I've talked to is more stupid than the last.
What would you say like is the average for pitching a project, a pilot like that before a pickup? I mean, I've seen where it's been like what was it, like American Pickers. I was reading an article about them, and they said they pitched for like 7 years before somebody would jump on the thing.
I agree. Like, and it's only one of the most iconic shows of the last decade. So it shows you that you have to chip away at fucking team retard of fucking producers who drive around in E500 classes or whatever the fuck it is, and think that they're over because they greenlit something that they had no input on, no like vision to bring to light. It's just that they got into that position because they went to LA, suckholed their way as an intern, fucking got over, bought lunches, did whatever, and then became an agent, and then got into that part of the business when there was a hole. Like, that's the low life scumbag. They're not creators. They're not artists. They're not free thinkers. They have to have the free thinkers come to them, and then they don't get it because they're not us. And they want to act like they are, but they've done none of the work to have any of the credibility. They just get to put their fucking stamp on there as an executive producer credit. But I can do what they can do all day long. They can't do what I can do ever.
Good stuff. Let's switch gears here a little bit. Is before we, kind of got things shaken up here with the big news of the WWE move with Peacock. Hey, some other big happenings from the weekend. The knockout heard around the world. Conor McGregor going down.
Dude, I've been getting crushed in betting, dude. I trust Javid and John Hartnett and those guys implicitly, and they usually have good stuff. But the last 2 weeks, I've just been rocked. I put $5 I wanted the Bills to go yesterday. I kind of in my gut knew they wouldn't, but and then Conor, I thought he was going to I put that the fight doesn't go 3 rounds, so I did, or go the distance, so I did win. But dude, just tattooed, knocked out by Poirier in a really embarrassing way. And people are like, should he go to WWE now? What's
next? What's next for him?
Dude, why would you bring him in now? If you're going to bring him in now, there has to be a massive heel. He can't be the heel. Any heel on the roster that wouldn't go, oh, I'm scared of you. You just got knocked out. Look out. Conor's here, everybody. Don't get knocked out. He has no value. He has to win at least 2 fights before he jumps to wrestling, because if he does now, wrestling is just going to look like, oh, it's for guys who get knocked the fuck out in UFC and they know this shit's fake and they can come over here and cut a promo. That's all our sport will be reduced to if they do that, not just bring him in. And how bad did it go the last time with fucking Cain Velasquez and Ronda Rousey, dude? What value do we truly get there? Next to none. So unless he's coming in to fight Matt Riddle in a shoot fight, there isn't much value there to me, because what's he going to do? Coming in 155 pounds and talk shit to Sheamus? Okay, let me see that visual. And then you'll see that Conor, a lot of this shit I say, that's just a lot of shit talk about super heavyweights versus 155 pounders. You will see the difference. You will finally see it. And I don't care. And Conor just got knocked out by Poirier, who's a phenomenal, obviously, martial artist. But that's a guy at his same size. If Sheamus was to really fucking lay one onto him, it's all over. It will expose all 155 pounders. I don't care how much Bruce Lee shit you know. If Sheamus starts thumping on your chest and tries to stop your heart, Mr. Miyagi ain't got no fucking remedy for that, Danielson.
Well, let me throw a few scenarios at you here. I agree wholeheartedly. You bring him in, you're opening up a floodgate for anybody that has fallen short, fails in MMA, immediately thinking they can jump over here. It exposes pro wrestling. It's not good long term. But Conor McGregor still is that spectacle. And we're just talking about dealing with networks and taking them for all they're worth. Would Vince and his company use that as a selling point? Hey, we can bring him in. Look at what he does for these pay-per-view buys. He's going to be on your platforms.
I'm sure they would. I'm sure they would do it. I wouldn't put him in the ring though. I'd put him with Sheamus as Sheamus's fucking backup and get Sheamus back up on top. Like do a bro thing with him, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of different things you could do, but what's his fucking value? Talking on the mic and bringing over that big outside audience for pay-per-view. And, then, I mean, to be honest with you, the feud is AJ Styles versus fucking Conor McGregor, because AJ can protect him, hide his shit, and fucking sell for him.
Right. And the visuals there, it's more believable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Than a Baron Corbin or a Sheamus standing up there against Conor McGregor.
Well, it's Conor, and the visual is Conor and Big Ninja. AJ goes over on fucking Sheamus. Conor's got to face AJ. Bing bang boom, right? There's 4 matches in there, easy.
Well, because that was going to be kind of a follow-up question for you. Do we need him I know eventually you need that payoff, but out of the gate, would there be a huge rush to push him into the ring? Could you use him maybe in a GM role, an analyst role, a hype guy?
You could. I don't see it in my head right now as I'm just spinning the wheels, but him and McAfee could fucking talk a lot of shit to each other. Him and McAfee could team up and fucking take over.
I was gonna say, you're kind of reading my mind here today, because I was gonna for truly smart business, just not the popping chubs and all that. long term, who's a better investment for WWE? Would it be Conor McGregor or Pat McAfee?
Pat McAfee, he loves wrestling, and he's got his own fucking platform with thousands of dedicated listeners every day. You know what I mean? For a quick hype, Conor would be all right, but like McAfee loves this shit, you know? So that's the difference of how the boys are going to fucking treat you one way or another. I don't know, man. There's at the end of the day, as big of a name as he is, if they made him GM, they're behind closed doors going, see, when ratings go down, we can pin it on Conor that Conor wasn't a draw. Like they are just looking for one more human shield, bro, to put out there for the police car to run over before it hits them.
Yeah. Speaking of, from where was that, up in Seattle that we saw?
I don't know. Yeah, that was nasty. Greg Moser says, "Did you see ringside PW stream try to poke at Russo last night on Twitter?" No, I didn't see that. I know it was Vince Russo's 60th birthday. My birthday message got over 3,000 views, so appreciate that, you guys. I'm just trying to pop the boss, but if you haven't wished Vince a happy birthday, please go over and do so at the Vince Russo. But I didn't see what they took a shot at him for, so please let me know, Greg Moser. Garback Sedge, our own, out of Louisville, man. You looking for tattoos? Get a hold of Mo's. We'll put you in touch.
Let me pull up some of the headlines here. We've kind of worked in quite a few of what we had here. Was going to get things going with a little talk. One of the very good friend and favorite of the Hamin Army, Serena Deeb.
Oh yeah.
She was on the AEW podcast, I believe that's called Unrestricted.
Texting me,
talking a number of things there.
Texting me the last 30 minutes that we've
been talking a number of things. Oh, she has been.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're talking about her.
I'm like, when you see me like look over the side, it's because either her or Stevie are messaging me, or Triple D as well. Triple D wants to get sushi this afternoon. I just don't know if I have time yet.
Oh, very, very nice. Yeah, busy week for everyone at Hamin Media Group. But no, she talks about, you know, kind of the journey that she's been through this year, going from a coach to really not knowing what direction she was heading in professional wrestling, and then getting an opportunity with AEW. That first match on Dark with Thunder Rosa said it really came together in 48 hours. They called her, she says here, I believe, on a Monday to set it up for Wednesday. They asked her, not only should be interested, did she think she was ready to go for something like this? Of course, she was going to jump all over the opportunity. They went out there and created magic that become the talk of the wrestling world. From there, she's able to capture the NWA Women's World's Championship. And arguably right now, she's one of the top talents in the world. They also had asked her here in this little article what they're talking about is her Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling. And she listed off Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect, Shawn Michaels, and Eddie Guerrero.
Ooh, really? Eddie over Triple H, Deeb. Wow.
And then Triple H didn't even get into the honorable mentions. She gave it to Dean Malenko.
Well, she's working with Dean, you know what I mean? And I think that she's a lot like Dean in technical prowess, and she loves Bret. And Shawn, I can see, but Stooge, she had a big old Triple H poster on her wall, even in OVW. Like, if you see, I see pictures of her when she's like 14 as a wrestling fucking fan, and she had the big old Triple H poster on her wall. Game was her guy back in the day, so I wonder why not, but maybe that's just a political anti-WWE or, you know, response. But yeah, dude, she watches tons of Bret and she watches tons of Mr. Perfect. That's fucking apparent, isn't it? In the way she moves. It's not like she's ripping them off fully, but we try and take the best of everyone we like and fucking reinvent it for ourselves, whether it's the seatbelt pin and things like that she makes her own. You know, there's a couple things, even though she hasn't been doing the spear, that was her thing in OVW for a lot of years. She's really switched it up from then. But her Mount Rushmore, Eddie Guerrero, Shawn Michaels, Perfect, and Hart. Yeah, I mean, that's plenty of high level talent. There's no doubt about that.
Well, I guess so. That's the follow up. Ben Hamin What was be your wrestling? Let's say WrestleMania era Mount Rushmore for pro wrestling.
Ben Hamin, and Ben Hamin, like any good heel should say.
You imagine how that would look on the side of a monument there up on a mountain.
Look great. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm a Brett guy through and through too. Andre the Giant is the reason why my sickness goes that far today, I guess. I don't know, man. I don't usually get into this shit, to be honest with you. I steal from everybody. There's tons of guys I like that I think are better than people's like, oh, the Mount Rushmore, Flair and Hogan. Dude, give me fucking Rick Rude. Give me Chris Benoit. Give me Dean Malenko. Give me early Jericho versus Dean Malenko. Like, that's the shit I like. That's my type. So, just see your brother and fucking big leg drop and all that shit. Like, I mean, that ain't me. So I'm one of those individuals. I'm always kind of that jerk to point out, and I know I've come to accept that Mount Rushmore, when we're talking today's terms, means greatest or favorites. But I'm one of those that always points out that's not the real meaning behind Mount Rushmore. It's about birth, growth, development, and preservation. Yeah, I'm with that. I think that's good. And there's tons of legendary names, that I could easily just throw up in there, from Flair, Hogan, Savage, all that kind of shit of who left a legacy in the business. But I'm on the other side of the curtain. So is she. But to me, everyone's just a worker, and none of those guys would be shit if somebody didn't lay down for them. So, like, every guy that, if Hogan's on your Mount Rushmore, Hogan wouldn't be there if it wasn't for fucking Big Boss, man. If it wasn't for
for Andre, ultimately,
right, Andre too. So, it's all about doing business. So it's not like one guy or any of the four the names that you have are shit. It's somebody said, you look like the dude we want to push. You guys are going to do business. Okay, I'll do business and we'll all make money together. So there's no like fucking, if it's the guy who drew the house, then okay, go to the biggest houses and see who it was. Rock, Hogan, Flair, and whoever else. Fuck.
Cena.
Yeah, sure. He's the best who ever did it.
Right. Yeah, it was interesting. You're talking about Serena watching lots of film and all that. And you guys are kind of, maybe that last of that breed. I know, to study the past where you came from was what was instilled in you at OVW. For someone like Serena, for yourself, how many hours do you put in watching tape, to studying others' film? And
now I only watch a lot of old stuff. Like, I'll go back and watch things I didn't watch, with like Butch Reed versus Junkyard Dog, and just see a couple things, how a guy will sell a punch. One punch and sell it for 45 seconds. Like, how can I put that in my fucking match? Like, and so I'm not doing nothing and bringing them along, because if they did that shit in 77, I can do it in 2021 and fucking get the same response, especially when everyone's throwing 90 fucking punches and not one of them means a goddamn thing. So when it comes to tape review, I mean, you just have to do it. That's true with everything. If you're a musician, you better if you're a DJ, you better be listening to everything from Mozart and Chopin to fucking DJ Red Alert and fucking Beastie Boys, whatever. Like, you got to have that, because you might find something that fits with you that unlocks some piece of brilliance, And as a writer, I would watch all that shit, because I would take why do I always draw a blank on his name? Wrestler from the 70s, 60s and 70s. Super smart, was with Bobby Heenan. Played like the smart guy fucking gimmick, blonde hair. God damn it.
Not Bockwinkel.
Bockwinkel. And fucking, I would watch Bockwinkel.
How do you forget that?
I cannot something in my head. I took too many bumps. I can never pull that name. I see him as clear as day in my head. I can never say Bockwinkel. But fucking, I would take Bockwinkel. I watch all Bockwinkel shit, and then I would take that and put it on Professor Gavin Garrison, who got signed as fucking Fletcher or whatever they named him to FCW, his porn name was. But I took Bockwinkel's stuff. I took fucking Andy Kaufman's the book reading of F. Scott Fitzgerald and all that kind of shit, where he come out and just start reading to people, and they would like laugh at first, but by page 2 they're fucking red hot, and that whoever you send through the curtain to get him to stop reading is over instantly. You're fucking over, you know? So there's a lot of people I would take from and again put it into a blender, and none of that's for me. None of the Bockwinkel shit. That was for Gavin Garrison. So I was always thinking of how can I watch old stuff and put it into other people's characters or reinvent it too while I was writing. So tape review is essential, especially if you wrestle like somebody, you want to be like somebody. You can look at their rhythm as a wrestler and see their offensive package or their comeback or whatever it is, and say, okay, that works for him, but I can't do that same thing because people are going to say that looks like they just stole that from Brett, right? But I like how he did this here, getting into it. I might do one of his 4 moves there, but I've got to fit in 3 of my own to build around this spot. Now we're taking Brett's psychology, Brett's timing, Brett's style, and fucking why it works and putting our own on top of it. And that's preserving legacy, I think, dude. Like that's evolving the sport, you know?
When you're helping or when you're creating for other individuals, what are some of the challenges there? I mean, do you run into some issues where they have trouble seeing your vision? How do you adapt to their personality? I mean, because they really have to own that, correct?
Yeah.
And it takes a lot for maybe to overcommit to really buy in when someone else is kind of sculpting this for them.
It does and it doesn't. And you know, and I'll Tony Connie, myself here. And maybe you guys feel it because I try and do it at Hamin Media Group. My greatest talent isn't in performing and yalla and all that shit. My greatest talent is cultivating new talent and showing them the performance that's inside of them and bringing that out and showing them the improv side of saying yes and then how do we heighten and explore, and how do we get max value, and how do we find the game for our character and play that game out? Because once I can show a performer that, it's not about me putting my vision on them, it's what's inside them, and I'm just unlocking little bits here and there, and you see the ahas go off. Meanwhile, I'm not like I'm up here above them, but like I'm there next to them, showing them like, let me just push you through, because when they get it and they own it, the performance that they give will be 1,000 times more genuine than anything I can put on them. You know what I mean? I might get my little shit in a promo that I write for somebody where I want to get a fucking Usual Suspects line or something that's just for me. I'll write it in there, because that's another thing. I would put lines like that in my improv, and sometimes it would hit really hard, and other times you hear one laugh from the back, but that one person would stick around to the end of the show to come up to me and go, I've had this happen 5-6 times. Dude, people in here are fucking stupid because that was the funniest line of the fucking night. It went right over everybody's head, but that shit hit me in the face. I've had a half a dozen random strangers come up to me after shows to tell me that. So I think that level of gameplay is very important, playing to the height of your intelligence. Now, that being said, I took from the Three Stooges, I took from Mr. Bean, I took from Pee Wee Herman, and I made help, and Man Beast even named him when he came out the first time, Lumpy Magoo. You've heard me talk about this guy.
Yeah.
That was just the nerd character where we found the game, played it out. He never got offense. He'd always ask the wrong question. He'd always get killed until the audience was conditioned to that. And then they loved him, bro. And we took him to the top, and he became a top ticket seller. He was selling 120 tickets at a time, bro, when he was on top. Like, and you had to only sell 5 to get on the show. Guys couldn't sell tickets because we got this guy so over. Now I took that same thing to 2CW, and there was a kid there, and I dude, we're going to do this gimmick. He was on Ring Crew for a year and a half, paid his dues. I'm like, Jasper Whipple, you're going to fucking be the new Lumpy Magoo. Trust me, this will work. In a different way. He didn't have the commitment that Lumpy did, because I was just putting it on him, forcing it on him. But it took him from Ring Crew to main event with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. You know what I mean? And he could do everybody's offense fucking like Eugene could. You know, so he could Superman punch like Reigns or whatever he needed to. He's a wrestling super nerd and fucking figuring everything out. put him with Dick Justice. Now, Dick Justice was there as doing a cop gimmick, mall rental cop, where they're eating donuts off the nightstick and stuff. Not really that. Oh, he'd take a bite of the donut and then do the Triple H water spit with the donut. That fucking caught me. The first time I saw him, I was like, that's fucking funny. But it wasn't until I started working with Dick and being started working with Dick Justice and fucking being like, dude, here's the games we need to play out, Hamin and whatnot, that I helped to unlock his potential. And then, indie darling within 2 years, and Impact and wherever else, now he's on the shelf. But it's about working with a performer and being like, watch this. This is what I see in you, and here's what came before you. And then when they see it, if they didn't see it before, that light bulb goes off, and now we're on a creative trajectory that is infinite of possibilities.
Have you encountered many times where you do present somebody with this is a gimmick, it's proven going to work, you're going to get over, you're going to be a top draw, but but they just can't, because I don't want to do that. I got to go out there and get my shit in. I want to be, everybody wants to be Shawn Michaels.
I'll marry the fucking kid. I brought it from Ring Crew, bro. He should have been doing open. He did like maybe, and Strangler Steve's going to pop for this. He fucking maybe should have done he did a dozen matches, maybe a year, like half a year on the undercard to get ready and get conditioned and what we call the shitty sixes, right? The shitty six match. To get him in the ring and fucking get him over, and I can get heat on him and do whatever, and they can chase me off. Okay. When he gets to the main event and he's over as Jasper Whipple, all he wants to be is fucking one of these marks who is fucking on AEW Dark, getting their shit in constantly. Nothing means anything. No one knows, there's no character involved. It's all wrestle, fucking strong style back and forth, and it's dumb as shit. And he's only fucking 5'8", 5'9", not a big guy, in shape and dedicated and athletic. But now he's been in the main event with Hacksaw Jim Duggan as Jasper Whipple. Established, right? Established. Throws it off after 2 CW's done. Fucking wants to become little fucking Chris Benoit and a shooter. Already out of the business, bro. Gone. It took him 2 years to fucking carny himself out of the business, because they're kids. They're not going to get it, bro. Like, if he would have fucking stayed on and flushed that Jasper Whipple character out, then you could have brought in the Spirit Squad to work with him. Who comes to save Jasper Whipple? Fucking Nick Dinsmore, Eugene. See how these characters will get you into the fucking main event, But if you want to go out there and say, fuck that, fuck entertainment, it's about me and my phony ass fucking forearms to the head. So because I feel like I'm going to get to go to New Japan and fight Yashahiri Tonajawa or whoever the fuck you want to fight, that shit ain't happening, bro. Nobody in Japan gives a fuck about you. You're better being the fucking nerd showing up as Kikaturo's fucking friend, and then you're in the fucking show. But they're kids, bro. They don't know it. And when they don't have a full-time TV show and improv coach like we have at OVW and myself, and it's just me trying to do what I can at 2CW, well, I'm not the owner. I'm not the top guy. I'm just in the brain trust, and it's my job to take these fucking green guys and get them over. That's what I do. And if they don't want to fucking bite on it after that, it was good working with you, bro. I'll be over here fucking working with Piper. I'll be over here fucking working with top guys. You keep doing you, though. I'm sure it's all going to work out fine.
Well, a big return around the corner, one I'm really looking forward to. It's going to happen for Impact Wrestling. ODB is going to return to the company. She's bringing her and that barbecue. She was recently on an interview, and she said what she really feels that Impact Wrestling needs is to spice it up in their women's division, and that's exactly what she plans on bringing in. She also talks about the potential of working with AEW. I remember going back to the first StarCast, she was involved there. She had the barbecue truck right outside of the front gates. It was one of the most popular attractions. I think I probably, over the course of 5 days, I ate there like 7 times. It's incredible stuff. She had done ODD did a one-off with AEW where she was involved in one of the buy-in battle royales. Hasn't been back since. she is looking forward to the opportunity now that you got the working relationship between Impact and AEW. Was going to ask her, well, obviously not here today with this piece, but Ben, how do you expect her return to go? How would you plan it out?
Yeah, man, I'd have her roll right in with the food truck. Like, I think both of these shows should be a commercial for her own brand with the food truck. Everybody knows it. And first of all, shout out Dirty Gimmicks, man. That's my girl too, OVW 101. And she's been busting that ass. She did a program, a 75-day detox, weightlifting, and fucking clean eating program. And
Wow.
you can go on her Instagram, and she put her before and after pictures on from 75 days apart, and she's dropped good 30 pounds, tightened right up, and looks phenomenal, dude. And she's happy, and I can see that she was going through some stuff, earlier in the year we talked, but right now I'm so excited for all the momentum she's got, showing that, hey, in this fucking time of COVID or whatever, you can invest in yourself, and that investment's always going to pay off, whether it's being on TV or what have you. If you really dedicate to yourself, no matter what it is, I don't care, you don't have to be trying to be a celebrity or whatever like we are. It's about being a better parent, being a better boss, being a better you to you, getting your health in order. Like, 75 days, I think you earned that to dedicate that to yourself. And she's inspirational in that to me, man. So she might come off as, grabbing her big gimmicks and bam and crotch and all that. But, that's my girl, Jess, man. She's got a big heart, dude. And, the thing I love about her the most, I think everybody does, is she can go anywhere. She's beloved by anyone except for WWE. Unfortunately, what a bunch of morons they were to pass on her, dude. I mean, millions of dollars written on her. And then she went to Impact and got over, and then went away from wrestling and has done her dream this way of living in an Airstream. And, there was the tragedy of her losing her first food truck, but the wrestling world showed how much they loved her. And now she's got her dream come true. So I think it's perfect time for her to come back. She looks great. And I think she can be in between AEW and Impact all day. And I hate to say this, but if there's one person I would, in a booking committee, if I was to say, you want to go with the feud, you want to fucking run this, ODB comes in and takes the belt off Serena night one.
Wow. You talk about, I guess no pun intended, making an impact. I mean, that'd be a major shakeup.
I do it on AEW. I'd have her on Impact, and then I'd have the fucking van. I'd actually get a fucking horn that's her voice. And I'd have her fucking hitting the horn as she came into the fucking arena, and she does the boom and all that. And then, maybe Serena's in the ring at that point, and she challenges Deeb right there for it, dude, and goes over.
Wow.
And it doesn't need to be any hard hitting big heel shit, but that's how you make an impact. And then you can go into a best of 5 series with them if you want, and do it all over the place at Impact, at NWA, at AEW, and then pay it off someplace big.
I'm just thinking of some of the skit work, the success they had with Shivani and Britt Baker. You could duplicate that with ODB and JR with the barbecue tie-in. And
sure. And then you could even have, if you wanted to have them heel on the girls like that, they could fucking Dirty and Deeb can team up. That's a fucking easy thing to do as well too with their, I've seen this match on house shows 50 times. I know these two girls are among my favorites. That's when I was at OVW. It was her, Beth Phoenix, ODB, Serena, Katie Lee, Soze, and Melina Roca most of the time. Would be the girls mix in with Melody and Sojo Bolt, Lady Sojo. And so, dude,
wow,
a lot of time,
a hell of a class.
Yeah. So, wrestling like all the men do, because we all train together. It's not like you girls have to do the back handspring and all that shit. Sure, they get marched out to do the bikini competition, but that's part of what their job is on the show.
What do you think about ODB and WWE? Was it because she had such a different look for what they were going for at the time?
I don't know, man. I don't know if there's any heat there. I'd never heard of a story, but at the end of the day, if you got a problem with ODB, the problem is you. I've never heard anybody be like, fuck Dirty, man. She sucks. She's such an asshole. Like, dude, it's always, hey, let's go have a beer, man. And
I
fucking
try to think, because that would have been Laurinaitis, right? That would have been Johnny Ace's run at the head of the talent.
Ace and Nova at the time, and even kind of a little Paul Heyman and maybe Cornette too, to be honest with you. But when I was there, it was Ace, Bruce, and fucking Nova, and I don't know. I mean, I can tell you about all three of those guys being having heat with everybody else,
right?
Tell you about ODB,
with Ace's, what he's kind of known for when it came to the women, he was going through, the bikini, catalog.
Fucking sign chicks you could possibly bang.
Yeah.
So, but the ODB was contract and she was there. She wasn't there on her own dime. So why are they fucking paying her if they're not going to fucking use her,
Interesting. Well, as we mentioned at the top of the show, it is Royal Rumble week. It's one of my favorite. It is my favorite event of the year on the WWE calendar. We've got a lot of incredible content coming your way here with the affiliate page at HaminMediaGroup.podbean.com. It's the Rad Rumble week. Rad Rob from the Rad Turtles show. He's got 7 days of content. He's got some tremendous guests lined up. Everything kind of themed towards the Rumble. One of the shows is going to be myself, Jargo, and MSG catching up on our favorite Rumble moments. So again, you can check out all that. It's all week long, 7 days leading right up to Sunday's big event at HaminMediaGroup.podbean.com. Ben, I want to talk to you about some of your favorite Rumble moments, and then we can talk a little bit about maybe what to look forward to at this year's event.
Yeah, man.
What's that favorite moment that really jumps out to you for the Rumble?
Man, you hit me with all these fan questions, and dude, and I just I've blocked that shit out of my mind. I usually don't get fear about questions at all, but I'm like, fuck, what do I look back to in the Royal Rumble, dude? Double feet hitting the floor was good. The British Bulldog, in the end was dope too. A lot of hope spots and things like that I like in the Final Four. What I don't like is what I kind of started happening around 2005, 2006. And that's these spot fests where it's like, oh, Kofi's got to do his thing. Morrison's got to do his thing. And everyone stays small and holds onto the ropes. Like they're fighting. And then all of a sudden everybody's down. So you can have the focus for this big spot. I like the struggle of the Rumble. I like the, whoa, can they get him over? And fucking, he's gonna, I gotta say Mysterio too. He's made some phenomenal Rumble moments too. But I like Brock dancing last year. That was funny.
Yeah, that was good.
These spot fest Royal Rumbles suck to me. And I was kind of like, because when I was at OVW, they were getting guys ready. I remember Al was having one pre-Royal Rumble to, steal the hype on the show. And he's giving Ryback his spot to go out with fucking Chet the Jet. And I'm just like, you're doing elimination by elimination by elimination. And then they're going and planning stuff. Dude, here's the rules of the Royal Rumble that Rip taught us. Don't leave your fucking feet because someone will step on your fucking Achilles and your career will be over with. The whole point of the match is eliminating a guy over the top rope. So don't knock him down with punches because you're fucking stupid, because now you have to pick him up and throw him over the top rope. So everything you do should be about lifting a guy, or fucking how many ways can you do an up and over? How can you try and shit can a guy and have him stop you? How can you fucking be on the outside and make it look like, whoa, and then you fucking buck in and hit him and then do a sunset flip over his back and fucking you're back in there, and then you try and clothesline him. Things like that where you can do it in one or two kind of steps in the dance where it's a switch reverse. That's the whole fucking thing of the show. Or you got a 600-pound motherfucker in there and it takes 8 guys to work together to try and get him up, and then all he does have to do is fart and everyone, they sell away, right? Like that's how the fucking fat guy can stay in. Well, do we work any of those gimmicks? No, it's all about let me jump on a fucking chair and hop the chair back over to get to the steps while everybody's down and selling and no one's really been hurt. That shit looks so fucking stupid to me, dude. I want some fucking hillbilly Jim fucking struggle, nothing sexy, just punches, light them up in the corner. You stay small when somebody makes their entrance because that's their time to get over. But really, that's on the camera guys. You should be in there and just fucking wailing away. You hit on a guy, try and do something, switch it out, and then you move to another dude. So the crowd gets to see a different pairing with you as somebody else. JBL with Eddie Guerrero. Boom, bang, boom, bang, boom. Eddie's too slick. Pokes JBL in the eyes. JBL sells away. Fucking find himself on the other side of the ring with, I don't care, The Miz, whoever the fuck. But that's how none of that should be planned. That should just all be us as workers being good. So you don't leave your feet. You don't knock a guy down or hit him with a move that puts him on the mat because you are automatically a fucking idiot. And you watch how many times that happens in this Royal Rumble. And any veterans backstage, if Pat Patterson and them were still alive, as soon as that happens, they just look at each other and go, they don't get it, bro. They don't get it. So one guy who does get it, though, is
this is perfect.
Good doctor himself. Good morning, pal.
You know, I had to know it was going to happen eventually. Well, I know I've been late like the last month or so, but this morning it actually happened. I rolled over, looked at my new phone, which was supposed to go off, and it was 9:15 a.m. And I said, motherfucker. So I had to finish the damn model. I said I was going back and forth last night between finishing patient notes and finishing jokes. I guess I got to pick one or the other. So sorry, ladies. I guess we're going to have a day of no squats in order to make this work out. But, you know, I'm sure I've missed nothing but joyful banter and great news. And I'm just excited to join you guys on this Monday, finally.
Yeah, man. Serena stooged herself off in an article about her Mount Rushmore of wrestling. You ready for this one? Fucking, okay, Brett and Sean, get that, right? We know that one. And then it was
Perfect and great.
Mr. Perfect, okay. And then who would you say is the number 4 spot?
For her, I know in the past who she would have said. But
Who in the past?
For her, China, because I know that was a big inspiration for her.
All right. I Triple H
because Triple H as well, because I know she used to be a big fan of his, but I'm going to say she probably swerved and went different. Flair?
No, Eddie Guerrero. I was like,
nice.
But I got to tell you, dude, I was shocked that no Triple H call on that one after the poster. She's going to be hot, though. We stooged her off. And what else? Peacock bought WWE Network for $1 billion.
Oh, good.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Well,
as most peacocks do, I'm sure they'll fly very far.
You know what's going to fly far with me this morning, man, is that Monday morning monologue you were working on in the closet. So y'all, let's have some jokes, brother.
All right. Yeah, let's cut into it. You might as well cut up all the festivities here on the Monday Locker Room. Hope you're all having a good Monday so far. Let's go ahead and get right into the headlines. Alexa Bliss, last week she unveiled a new persona in the main event of Monday Night Raw, and she used it to get past Asuka. During Monday's show, Bliss changed into a dark, fiend-like version of herself during the match with the Raw Women's Champion and picked up the win, setting a new world record for number of sharks jumped by an episodic television show. Congratulations, Alexa Bliss and Monday Night Raw. Lovely. Jason Jordan, you might remember that guy. He's been on the shelf for the last 2 years, but Chad Gable says his former tag team partner is working to get back into the ring, but still no word on what kind of angle. In a post on Instagram, see, I slipped that one past you guys. Paul Heyman, he shared a clip of talking to Apollo Crews on Talking Smack and teased that Apollo Crews could join Roman Reigns' group, which also currently includes Jey Uso. And as we all know, Paul Heyman has never told a lie, so you know it's got to be true. Never. During a previous edition of Busted Open Radio, the Good Brothers and former Bullet Club members Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows discussed how they previously tried to obtain the Bullet Club trademark, but apparently they were shot down. Great for those guys. Sucks. Toni Storm, she had a little tribute to Mick Foley on last week's episode of NXT, and the WWE Hall of Famer noticed the show saw Storm team with Mercedes Martinez in a losing effort against Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro in the first round of the Women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Storm wore Cactus Jack style boots and shared a picture of them on Instagram. In response, Foley posted to Twitter. Look at Tony Storm paying a little tribute to hashtag Cactus Jack on WWE NXT. Thanks, Tony. And if you ask me, I think actually Cactus Jack may have been hoping for a little bang bang. But yeah.
I know I would be.
Good old Foley. And last but not least, this last week's episode of AEW Dark featured an obscene comment from Taz that eventually had to be edited out, but not before the episode was posted online. During the entrance of Peter Avalon, Excalibur asked Taz if he ever played any instruments in high school. Taz listed various instruments, then asked Excalibur if he ever played the skin flute. After an awkward silence, Excalibur said, Jesus Christ. And Taz replied, they'll have to edit that one out. I'm sorry. Well, either way, it looks like whoever had to have their finger on the censor button, they were just another victim. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been your Monday morning monologue.
Yeah, skin flute. You know what? Let's see if we can fucking do this here.
You know, I got a quick funny, like I love as a commentator, so many little ribs. Uh-oh.
Oh, let's see. Oh, fade. So, sorry, as a commentator, I was just gonna bust her chops about her fucking Mount Rushmore.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you were calling up Timmy Baltimore.
I'd like to. Yeah,
she probably knows you're live right now. She's just avoiding you.
He might be.
And then, which we'll try to get a hold of him. But I do have a funny commentating story that has to do with Brian Pillman Jr. I don't even know if he knows that I ribbed him, but we'll see if Baltimore picks up first.
Oh man, awesome beast as well. I'm glad you got some fucking sleep though, bro. I did not. My shoulder is torched, and I just tossed and turned all last night, man.
There's still nothing worse than waking up and realizing you're late. I know it's gonna happen. But I'll tell you this quick commentating story. So when Brian Pillman Jr. first came around OVW to get trained to get some reps in with Rip. He worked a couple of the amateur non-televised shows, but he didn't, I guess because he was still in training, he didn't want people to know he was Brian Pillman Jr. yet, because I guess he wanted to reach a certain level before he did that. So he was going by some like really generic name, and I really don't remember what the name was, but let's, for the sake of it, say it was John Johnson. And so during commentary, Gilbert Corsi, the co-commentator, smarted me up. He goes, just don't mention that he's the son of Brian Pillman or Brian Pillman Jr. He just doesn't want any of that. I said, okay, don't worry. So during the broadcast or during the show, I just go, and by the way, I don't know if you know this, but John Johnson over here comes from a long line of wrestling lineage. And he's actually, this is a very big match. And Gilbert just started give me like the cut signal, like don't do it. And I go, oh yes, I'm going to say it, Gilbert. This is actually John Johnson Jr. You may know him from his dad, John Johnson, who worked back in the territory days, but John Johnson Jr. is hoping to hold up to the family name. And Gilbert's just like, Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? Made him think I was going to stooge it off. And it's like, got him.
Oh, good stuff, man. And he's talking about Gilbert Corsi, Emmy Award winning news anchor in Louisville and former voice of OVW at the commentary.
And apparently he's on now. He just got not, I guess, promoted, but I guess elected to some kind of board of television for the Ohio Valley region. So as far as for News Network goes, so he's making moves in the world of news and journalism and reporting. And I will say he is someone, in the world of, nowadays fake news or whatever, like the due diligence I've seen Gilbert go through just to get a news story. Like he won't put anything on the air unless it's been vetted and made sure of. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you another quick, interesting story. So for OVW, we're going to do a big event at 4th Street Live here in Louisville. And we, as part of it, because it was a September 11th show, wanted to highlight a hero in the community. And so we were planning to highlight this gentleman who said that he was there at 9/11 and helped raise the flag and do all this stuff. And apparently he goes to this barbecue place every week and they give him free food because he's a veteran and all this stuff. We'll come to find out, Gilbert doing his due diligence, this guy was a liar. He was not there in 9/11. We went back. He went back and checked his old fire departments that he said he was a part of. We had no record of him. He was faking everything. And then he went back into the story on trying to get a hold of the guy. The guy kayfabed him. So literally, we ended up obviously not giving him that award, but as part of his due diligence, just to give a simple award at an OVW wrestling show, he was able to expose an asshole and bring him public shame. And then we ended up giving it actually to a family in the community whose dad was a first responder, had a lot of health issues as well as his kids. And it was just, ended up being a nice family moment, but just goes to show, it really is refreshing to see when a journalist actually takes the time to make sure the stories they're running have some integrity. And at the end of the day, then people get exposed. And as Rip would say after he rings the bell, get the fuck out.
Pretty much. The guy was a good enough worker though that they did make him TV champ after that. So
yeah, you knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do? She saw it. She's fabing. She doesn't want to face her fucking Triple H. Yeah, man. Anything else we got on the agenda here to get through?
I have one thing. It was perfect timing for Beast. Beast, I was trying to humanize Hamin today. I was asking him fan questions, try to figure out, what brought him to the table. But I want to get to this Rumble talk. Beast is responsible for my all-time favorite Rumble. It was the 2020 Nightmare Rumble at OVW. He booked that thing. I kind of want to pick his brain and share with people out there what goes into putting one of these matches together. How do you start? How do you kind of put all these little pieces of this puzzle, get everybody on board to make sure it's flowing? And
it's hard. I will admit that. And Rumbles are an elaborate match to book, and it really takes a lot of time and effort. But for some reason, for my ADD, OCD brain, I've always enjoyed putting these together. So I appreciate the kind words. So you always obviously have to start off with the spots that you pre-planned. I have someone get the number 1 spot, the number 30 spot. And then I'll be honest, a lot of what I like to do when I booked that particular Rumble is I would literally go through. First, I wanted to make sure that the big spots were kind of stretched out, like the bigger names. So, I would make sure, we weren't back in, having all the big names in one section. And then you have a bunch of, job guys. And it's like, okay, I know this is, what I mean? So I wanted to have the show have a good flow and make sure that, throughout the match, you're having big enough names to say, oh, this person might win. Oh, this person might win. And then from there, honestly, I try to think in my head, organic stories. Okay, this person and this person in the ring, what would happen? And instead of trying to force my ideas upon them, I try to think of, okay, as performers, what is the best kind of work they can do? And how can we highlight little stories between them to either go into business, immediately follow the Rumble, or set up potential business for something that, might look like we're turning one way, but then we actually come around to it months later down the line. So, and I guess I don't have a black and white answer because it really is a lot of organic figuring out who on the Rumble can interact with each other and what kind of interactions would they potentially have in real life. And then from there, you kind of just work itself out from that point.
I do remember inside of that match, what I really enjoyed about it, it seemed like you had it broke down in the quarters where there would be like a big payoff, for the first quarter, the second, building up to the winner. Just a few of them I remember, you had the big spot there with Megan Bain and Max, which was a big part there.
Yeah, with the 2 girls, that came out. Yeah, with the one heel girl come out and kick some ass of the smaller guys, myself included. Kick my ass.
You had your story there with the radio champ. You were kind of surprise entrant. But there was something going on there with Lushes. I mean, it's just the way you broke it down.
It's a lot of setups and a lot of payoffs, and that's good to do too, because, the whole match you have, obviously the big point is to win the match, but within that context of that, you can have lots of little stories that you set up and pay off and leave the crowd excited and satisfied by the end of the evening, because they just saw a lot of business take place in one match, and it's refreshing to see. And that's where, as long as the spotlight stays on one thing at one time, that's the key too. You can't have the spotlight going 2 different places.
I got to come in on you hard there, because I'm with you on almost all this, as we've done this before together. But I loathe the WWE stay small for the fucking spots, as opposed to this is a struggle. Get the guy over the top rope.
Oh, it doesn't mean stay small. I mean, you can still be fighting over. Yeah.
If you have a long-term feud, Rick, and you make it in the ring and your nemesis is there and you don't go right at him, you're a fucking idiot. Like, we need to get the story over to tell that. But you didn't see this one. It is up on the Mr. OVW channel, I believe. But I think it wasn't a Royal Rumble. It was a Battle Royal. But you want to talk about doing full storyline. And this is a guy, that we both got a lot of respect for, who's passed away, BKNY, Spiral, if you want to call him, we had a thing going with Scott Cardinal, where it was best super kick, and it had fucking led up to them having a super kick match. That's the only way you could win, is to knock your fucking opponent out with that. They go to a time limit draw because the show's got to go on, where they're throwing kicks, ducking them, all that shit. We start it's a weapons battle royal. Run what you brung, guys bringing down all kinds of goofy shit or chains or whatever. And the crowd was way into it. Who's the last two guys? Not in the Rumble, but that are left. BKNY and Scott Cardinal, after all the fucking carnage, finish with a fucking super kick and pin him.
Okay, Ben.
He super kicked him over the top.
We get it, Ben. You're a good booker too. You don't have to shit on my parade.
you helped with it too.
But it goes to show, like,
you do full business in one show. You can do full circle business if you want.
Absolutely, and in that context, you can do that as well. And I would say, here's what my point about the spotlight being on one thing. There's nothing worse than the camera trying to catch a piece of business while another piece of business is taking place. Is all that I'm saying. So every piece of important business needs to have its own individual spotlight. That being said, in between those spotlights, absolutely, it's guys trying to eliminate each other, trying to do their elimination spots or near elimination spots, and continue to make it look like an actual competition, so they're actually trying to win.
Let me ask you about this, because we heard the same rules, and I put it over earlier. Rip, don't leave your feet, because someone's going to step on your fucking Achilles and you're going to be on the shelf for a year. Don't be a fucking idiot. The purpose of the match is to eliminate guys over the top rope to the floor. So why the fuck would you knock somebody down in the ring and bump them only to have to pick them up again? Stupid as shit, right? And then put over guys' size. If you got a big fat fucker in there, should take 6 guys to fucking get him up and show that game to whoever the Giants are. Like, that's what you got to do. Now, you watch on the Royal Rumble, I can almost guarantee it. They'll be staying small, holding on to the ropes while somebody does a spot and nobody's knocked each other down. They just all happen to go down. There'll be spots in the ring where guys are fucking bumping and slamming each other and leaving them on the fucking mat and not picking them up to throw them over the rope at all. Just get offense in and soften them up. So they're killing the entire gimmick of the match. Like a tag match is to show the tag. This is to eliminate over the top rope. So you watch your WWE stars this fucking coming weekend and how truly rotten they are at this shit. Every time somebody bumps somebody in the fucking ring and that person who takes it is down and just laying in the ring, please shoot a tweet.
Although it honestly does, to Rick's point, not to toot my own horn on that Rumble, it does come down to who produces the Rumble. Unfortunately, though, Pat Patterson is no longer with us, and he's not going to be there to book the Rumble. So that's like who steps up and books it at that point. Because I will say the Rumble, based on how they book it when it's a collaborative effort, I will say I found when talk about that one Rumble I booked, it was much easier when I booked it myself than in years past when I've worked with a team. And I think part of that is just because it's so intricate. Now from there, I will admit when I had the Rumble all written out, I talked to my colleague Adam Revolver and kind of talked some spots through with them. And we switched some stuff around based on that. But I think you have one guy that basically should come up with the template, and then you run it through the committee to try to make it better. Now, well, to Ben's point, yeah, we're going to see lots of that, people taking bumps and not playing into the context of actually trying to throw someone over the top to win. That being said, I'll gladly volunteer myself. If you want someone with Rumble booking experience, bookthedoctor@gmail.com. Hit me up.
And I think too with WWE, now that they have 2 Rumble matches, I mean, they're just piling on the responsibility here, the difficulty. I'm trying to get through the men and the women's. I know I've called 2 or 3 of those things, of these matches, Rumble style. from a commentator standpoint, it's like a car wreck. There is so much going on. You're trying to keep track of where everybody's at. It's probably one of the more difficult but fun tasks that you could have from a commentary spot.
I think a Rumble is a little easier than a Battle Royal, though, because every 2 minutes your focus is on whoever comes into the ring, and then you're spending time on that story. And then there's probably in between going to be some sort of piece of business that you can focus on. And then between that, it's just concentrating on, oh, look, something's happening over here. He's almost eliminated, blah, blah, blah. But a Battle Royal, I feel, is harder because it's all at the same time. And unless it's booked out properly, like the one Ben discussed earlier, then it's hard to really, call it in that sense. Like, oh, that guy's trying to eliminate that guy, but that guy's also trying to eliminate that guy. Oh, look at that. Well, we got another close to elimination over here. Oh, geez.
I had one Battle Royal where they didn't give me any of the names of the participants, so I didn't know most of them because they were like trainees that had just gotten there. So you talk about difficult time.
Yeah, that would be hard.
There's plenty of spots we can come up with that are ooh and ah that fit the mold. This is off topic from our own listeners, Citizen Slim and Big Evil Pops scooped me on this. And this is, I don't know, $15,000 fine, as far as that goes. This shit gets me hot, bro. Not hot, like sexy hot, but fucking, oh, come on, it won't come.
I was going to say, who is it?
It's the fucking dude from Dark Order, number 10, who wears the mask. Posting selfies of his jacked fucking self on Instagram, bro, or on Twitter.
Like, at least he looks good.
Yeah, but they just can't stop themselves, bro. You are the masked gimmick. And for a tweet.
Not anymore.
20 grand, bro. I would make sure he's not paid for the next 90 days just to fucking send it home. Like, why do they think they are above this shit, bro? That kills the business for everybody, man. And I just like no respect. I like my respect level just went. I'm sure he's probably a hell of a nice guy, works on his body fine, but he don't understand this business, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit, dude.
I got another picture that'll make you hot, Ben. Give me 1 second. I screenshot it on my old phone. So give me, you'll love this one. Give me.
Well, in with that, Ben, I know you and Stevie had talked about it on the Friday locker room. Is social media bad for pro wrestling? I know Vito on his brand went to great length, kind of putting down social media. It's all about how you use it. It could be the greatest
tool. It's as a worker, it should be one of our strongest weapon to reinforce our creative and our characters. Instead, they use it as an escape from their art for their own little vanity to fucking be outside of the bubble. It's the complete wrong use of it by a generation of people who call themselves workers, but do everything under the sun to undo their own work. So they're not workers at all. They're just jacked up models. Oh, is that Ryan Satin with gimmick face?
I guess so, yeah. This was on the WWE on Fox YouTube. Roman Reigns explains his decision to turn heel. From WWE on Fox YouTube channel.
And that's Fox too, but like that's heat on Fox, bro. To even put that out there and say
undermines their own business.
The business and and use fucking insider terms. Everyone should be fined ridiculous amounts of money. So it puts the fear into everybody else from ever even thinking about pressing send again on some dumb shit, bro. I mean, I'm not going to stooge off about Serena and whatnot, but like, it's very important to me and her to use this weapon of social media as a tool to enhance her, persona and not go out there and do exactly what everybody else is doing to fucking ruin this fucking business completely, dude. Like it's stomach churning bad when a lucha guy who doesn't expose his face exposes his face on Twitter because he can't stop himself from fucking taking a 13-year-old girl selfie in the fucking mirror to show the world that he's jacked. We get it. You're jacked, bro. We understand. The mask on, mask off doesn't change our perception of us. If anything, now perception is less of you because you don't care about keeping the reality that we've been setting up for the last year for you.
At the very least, just take the effort to Photoshop a mask on your damn gym picture.
I
mean, at the very least.
Tell them, Beast. This isn't new to me. This is when I was a nobody. Tell them about Lana, the original Lana.
Oh, when that Rip booked with me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, but she was talk about how, she ruined her own business, but the gimmick was that it was really a rib on her because she kept telling Rip, when are you going to put my face on TV? When are you going to put my face on TV? And so Rip put her as my girlfriend, but as my character, Ted McNailer, he said I had to keep a bag over her head. And so we played the game out. Like during Halloween, she had a jack-o'-lantern on her head. And then during other times of the year, it'd be something else for the season. And then one day she just walked out with sunglasses on and showed her face. And then that was
why was it? Do you remember why?
Because her parents were there.
Her parents were in town and she wanted to fucking go into business for herself. We've been playing this game in the fucking lead up to Brian Alvarez versus Man Beast. Lana's got huge fake cans, a hot body, and the rib is that she's got it over there is ribbing her.
Said, and we would have worked a spot in the match too, where she got unmasked by Alvarez, but we couldn't do that.
Hugest part of the match, probably, bro.
Yeah, but we couldn't do anything with her. We didn't do anything with her
after
because
that. I came back. I go, you're done. She's like, what do you mean I'm done? What do you mean? Her voice was the fucking worst.
Lana Land.
Welcome to Lana Land. And I go, you're done. I go, you just ruined fucking 16 weeks of what we've been trying to build for you. Was it a rib? Yeah. But it got the fuck over massively. And that would have been the reveal, would have been everything. You're out of the fucking storyline. Thanks for playing. 3 weeks later, she quit. And that
I was going to say, how long was it before she was gone?
That's the type of discipline that needs to be invoked on these fucking guys, bro. Because they think because they're jacked and over and on TV, they can do whatever they want now. Nope. Wrong.
Absolutely. Learn how to work the social media in your favor. It can be a tremendous tool.
Yep. And when you do it the wrong way as Lexi Kaufman or fucking whatever you want to, Trish Parker and these double standards where you think, no, it shows that you are ignorant, that you are vanity driven, that you don't really give a shit about this business that you say, I love this biz. Well, you don't protect it at all. You do everything at every corner to get yourself over in a way that's outside of the business and doing good business further. So keep playing those fucking millennial stupid little cards thinking that you'll get away with it, because the reality is your value goes down every single time you do that. Every time. And now as a booker and somebody who would have a plan to push a guy who looks like he's carved out of granite, I would go, no, I can't trust him. I can't trust that he won't bury my creative for his own shit. You got to zoom in there. There we go.
See those gimmicks.
Big old gimmicks. We only shoot her from the neck up, bro.
Yeah. For those that haven't seen it, only because it is a fun little foray, these short little gimmicks that we build up with Brian Alvarez. I'll post them on the Hamin Media discussion group, so be on the lookout for that. I'll post the links up there, but let you all have a chance to see all that.
But my point is not to be like, oh, Hamin's right or this, whatever. Dude, that's me year one coming from improv 12 years ago going, respect the fucking craft, respect the game, and play the game out to the fullest. And when you go into business for yourself, I got no use for you ever again. And I won't trust you again. So that's how there's some people like that in this biz. And it doesn't matter if it's at fucking student level or they're on TV. If you do that shit, you're not a pro.
Well, again, on the affiliate page, HaminMediaGroup.podbean.com, we've got a full week, 7 days. It's the Rad Rumble content. You can also pick up this week the Hitting the Mark, Suck My Balls, The Right Opinion, Star Wars, Star Trek, all the great content on the affiliate. Of course, all the core content at hackerhamin.podbean.com.
And shout out to Rad Rob for doing that whole week. I got to actually get a hold of him to do a little guest spot on there too. So, Rad Rob making an early play for a new talent of the year, I think, here, man, with everything he's got going on, extras and whatnot. I appreciate all that extra effort, dude.
Yeah, looking forward to, I said, he's got a full week guests lined up. He's got some incredible content. Looking forward to that. Gentlemen, have a busy week myself. I've got it's wing week in Cincinnati, so I'm going to be hitting the road quite a few times for RBV Eats Out. A lot of stuff going on just inside our platform as I'm continuing to work with the 2-man power trip and getting them set up on Patreon, YouTube, and Twitch as we continue to grow our brand there. I know we got the launch of Vito coming up. Stevie Ray TV is rocking and rolling. Some of the names, I don't know what I'm allowed to stooge off, but believe me, when they hit the airwaves.
Yeah, Idle in April. I talked to them last night. They're excited. That'll be probably mid-February. Started working on graphics for that last night. They're excited, man. And I know a lot of people are excited for Damian Sandow's stuff to come to our brand. So plenty. And we had a great meeting yesterday. I mean, all the generals over here, executive producers, got their marching orders, man. So I'm just glad to see everybody living past their full potential. Everyone's been doing so much. I can't thank them enough to get these brands launched. And we still got another 4 or 5 weeks in the trenches of hard digging to do till we get them launched. Probably by end of February, we're going to have quite an awesome machine running here, man. And once we do all the hard legwork, we can reap some of the rewards. But I just wanted to thank both of you guys, MSG, Colin, everybody, all the producers, Bello, Big Ray too, just really taking full investment in these talents and cultivating them like I know we can at HMG. We're all going to reap the reward from it. And I know they're all excited too. I haven't seen some of them. They've been in the bubble so long, bro. They've been crushed so much by wrestling that when somebody really says, hey, dude, we want to highlight you, they're like a little weary. Like, what's your fucking angle, bro? My angle's 20%, 15 to my producers, 5 to me. It's open books here. But I think there's tons of money written on you, and I think that we can do something great together. I like the sound of that. And then we're off to the races, So if it wasn't for all of the group work that we do here in committee and through chat, and me relying on Man Beast for thumbnails and you doing the same and talent handling, all this stuff that everybody's doing, we wouldn't even be close to this awesome stage that we're at now. So it's not just because my name's on the door, man. You guys know everybody's kicking ass, from video editors to community builders around here. It's been awesome. Absolutely.
And as you know, when we start rolling out some of these other names, you're not going to believe what we got in store for you.
Oh, Man Beast. Well, you better make them squat too hot today, brother.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
They had last Monday off, but you're going to be back out to it, man. What else we got going on this week? Anything?
I'm trying to think. Well, I will say my little side project for those of you that maybe have kids that are in 4th grade or younger. One of the things that I'm working on, and there's actually some good content we have already. We kind of did a soft launch for. So basically, growing up, a lot of us had Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood to kind of watch. I myself enjoyed that program as a kid, but it all goes back to really the wholesomeness of talking to kids and helping them out. And these last couple of years, especially with COVID, it's been a hard time for kids growing up. It's very confusing. I know even as an adult, things are confusing sometimes. And so a friend of mine who's a social worker and also a wrestler as well, but very much into entertainment arts, as well as having the knowledge of counseling, obviously, as a licensed counselor and social worker, putting together a program where he, as Mr. Stu is what his name is going to teach through various lessons for kids to be able to understand, being able to work through their emotions. Ben's talked about on here, the people that are growing up now almost too soft to face the world. We're making them softer, but we want to empower kids from a young age to really get a grip on their emotions and be able to take on life and achieve whatever they want to. So long story short, if you have any kids or you want to check out the content we're putting together, look up Mr. Stu on YouTube. We don't really have much followers because it was a soft launch and we're just putting together content for investors to see. So far in one county in Kentucky, we've gotten them to agree to it, to start doing just a 5-minute program every morning, or part of class, whatever they want to put it. And we're just hoping to grow that program out with some investors. We have a studio we just started working on. We put down a $5,000 deposit on that. So we've started to build that out. It looks really cool, really great, and just excited for things along that. And I'm sure at some point, once we get the studio up and running, we'll use that for some wrestling and Hamin projects as well. But either way, it's very exciting to have a bunch of stuff coming down the pipeline, wrestling related, as well as really cool to do some healthcare related things as well. So excited for those things. So working on that, as well as just the thumbnails, the everything else that we got to do to keep the machine running, and just excited to be a part of it, man.
I might have something off camera to mention to you. Remind me on that project as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
RBV is going to be showing you guys all the wing spots, if you like a 3-foot taco, that's he's your guy, man. Check him out. Rick Vickery kicking ass, man, especially that 2-man power trip. YouTube, go over there and follow that.
Tacos down at OVW.
Yeah, she used to sit in the front row. Twinkle Toes used to date her.
Real quick, sorry, I got one quick funny story, only because it did make me laugh. So, tacos. There was because we're in Kentucky, we have a lot of racism here. It is what it is. So one of the Latino wrestlers that we have, Ben knows him quite well. We call him Cheese. Aaron LaMotta, Raul LaMotta, whatever you want to call him. But the fans, whenever he comes out for years, would always chant Taco Bell. Taco Bell, because he's Mexican. So clearly, that's
what get the real bad. The bail, that's the worst.
Yeah, Taco Bell.
Bail.
Well, for years this happened. I'd say almost a decade, and then one week it finally happened. Someone threw a taco at him in the ring. He got so pissed. Like, it's literally, there's this like beef and cheese and lettuce all over the ring, and he's getting ready to work. He's like, "You motherfucker!" He gets so hot, and he's always been so soft spoken. Yeah, so to see him get riled up was pretty funny. So
it was. I threw that taco from up above.
Got him.
Heels over strong all day long, infidels, here at hackerhamin.podbean.com, haminmediagroup.podbean.com, or wherever you're getting us, Spotify, iTunes. We're on all your favorite outlets. Subscribe to the YouTube channels. We appreciate you in the time of censorship, following us wherever we're going to end up on these platforms. It's an ever-changing world. But y'all, better late than never. I'm always glad to kick off Monday with the man beast and the man himself. He's ready to eat it out, infidels. It's the real RBV here with Hacker Hamin on your Monday locker room, infidels. Keep it raw, y'all law.